You know, I used to hate buying pop vinyls. I think I mentioned this in my pop vinyl collection video, that I always hated the design of them because the face of them was just so boring. Always the same eyes, always the same face. It wasn't until I bought the Neomorph from Alien Covenant, in fact, that I realized, hey, these figurines can be unique. And so, hence, an obsession kind of dawned over me that suddenly I could be buying ones that have really cool designs, and that would at least be something unique. But then I almost bought one from an anime that I'd never seen before, and I was like, actually, maybe I shouldn't buy this, because, like, outside of the waste of money, I used to be like, oh, I could buy a whole film or two films with the money that I'd spent on a pop vinyl. They're like $18 to $25 Australian dollars here, so yeah, it's a lot. So I realized, okay, what I'll do instead, and this is when this was a convention a few years back. I saw Twin Peaks pop vinyls, and I was working this convention. I'm like, fuck, I've only got $20. What do I spend it on? Well, here is Laura Palmer wrapped in plastic as a pop vinyl, and I'm like, hey, that's not just unique, but it's to do with something that I really like. That's something I really like, Twin Peaks. Now, I have all of them, except for the Giant and Audrey Horne, because I don't like them for some reason as pop vinyls. It's like, really, of all the characters? I mean, I guess it makes sense, but to be fair, it does make sense. But, you know, it's disappointing. And so, then we come to present day. So jump 2 years, and no, 3 years, it's 2020 now. And suddenly I go back to one of those conventions again, and I see something I've never seen before. Multiple stands of pop vinyls, over $100 each. This included two different variations of the Heisenberg crystal meth version from Breaking Bad, a show I adore. One of them was $200, one of them was $400, both in plastic casings. And while I was there, I bought myself this dude. Wrapped in plastic. No pun intended, really, because he's not from Scott Pilgrim. Doesn't matter. I got him pretty good, actually really good condition, in his original box, original sticker and everything. It is beautiful. I love it. Sorry about the reflection there. And I figured, hey, that's really cool. Yeah, it was 50 Australian dollars, which is a lot for a pop vinyl. I think the most I spent on a pop vinyl by that stage was 50, but it was for a 2-pack, and they were like, you know, exclusive for a convention, which makes sense. It's two $25 pop vinyls. Makes sense. Overpriced to hell, yes, but it made sense. And so to get him also in the box, I went looking all online to see if I could get a cheaper version, and suddenly, no, this was the best I could get. I looked at, and this was right at the very bottom. This is actually against the floor. That's how low down I had to look to find him. And they had the more expensive versions of Scott Pilgrim, the one with him with the Astro Boy shirt, and Knives Chow with the like emoticon face, both $500 each. And I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on here? And then became a kind of obsession into looking at the nightmarish side of pop vinyls. Pop vinyls cost a lot of money sometimes. You can get some that are very frequent that, like, for example, well, Mickey here. Yes, I know. The problem with not having it in its box is that it gets dust, but you realize it's also a figurine. It kind of is meant to come out of its box. It's a nice design, not a perfect paint job, and definitely really terrible at the neckline. However, it's cute, because of course it's Mickey Mouse in a sorcerer outfit. Those are how I used to collect pop vinyls until about 2 months ago when I got him, and I suddenly started going down this path of like, hey, how much would these pop vinyls be if I sold them? But then of course you have the idea of not just if I sold them, but would it be more expensive if they were in their box or less expensive. And of course, if it's in its box in a really good condition, and by that stage it's like if the box has never been opened, which for most cases on eBay I'm assuming they've probably been opened, unless this is actually a person who just buys it for to be in this box. So then to be like, yeah, that's really cool, 2 years later, I don't care about this, and it's gone up like $500 on the price market, boom, sell it off, easy money. You know, spend $25, get $500 back. It's a pretty good return. That's not the reason why I'm buying these, because at the same time, I still really like them. And it just became strange to look at all these pop vinyls that I had. Some that on the regular Funko app were at a regular retail price, which you can never really trust as it is, given that on eBay, these are ones that like are out of print, if you would. Ones that don't, I think they're called vaulted. Pretty much vinyls, figurines that get a limited release or get a particular set of units that are released to the wild. And then they all get bought, and they're like, either they don't sell as well, and hence they become vaulted because they don't sell well as a line, or they're limited edition, and hence they have reason to not get sold as many, and so more people want them, more people pay more for them, and in a few years' time the price will steadily rise, and continue to rise, hence why the Breaking Bad pop vinyl I saw cost so much, and why those Scott Pilgrim pop vinyls cost so much, because, as the sticker says, it is exclusive. It's a limited edition. Well, actually that one's just exclusive. The one next to it, that I bought ever more recently, is limited edition. Let me get a better shot of this. And actually, surprisingly, they're really good paint jobs. Have I taken them out of their boxes? No. Because sometimes you don't have to appreciate them, but at the same time, sometimes it's more fun to take them out of their boxes to make sure that they're in good condition all the way around, which is fair enough. But it just becomes a head scratcher. Why such figurines are so expensive? They're tiny little Funko Pops. Why do people care so much for them? I have other figurines that cost a hell of a lot more money that are a lot better in terms of design and everything. I've got Breaking Bad bobbleheads that still cost the same in the regular marketplace as they did 3 years ago when I bought them. And I'm like, why doesn't that have a different retail price? Now, of course, this could be something that someone in the comments, which please inform me, I don't mind, that could go into detail as this is why they're more expensive and stuff like that. It could be because these are more particular, collector's items, but to be fair, they're pop vinyls. They have a nuance to themselves that kind of presents it's not exactly very collector heavy, but at the same time, sometimes it is. And now, to be fair, I'm not going to diss anyone for buying pop vinyls. You do you. It's your money. I spend a lot of money on Blu-rays. I spend money on pop vinyls as well. I have over 50 pop vinyls. It's not a great amount. It's greater than a lot of people I know. But, I'm on, Funko Pop pages on Reddit and shit like that, and suddenly, whoa, these people have walls full of it in their boxes. And suddenly I'm looking at them being like, wow, you have a mint condition version of that. And I suddenly kind of start to realize this is why they may be so expensive. But then, of course, comes the defeat. What if I don't want Mickey anymore? What if I want to sell him off? Well, someone will buy him for $12 because he's out of his box and he's not exactly a great paint job and condition, for example. What if I've got one like, say, Witchy Poo here. Aside from the dust, which is not hard to blow off, to the point that I actually still have the limited edition sticker, because as long as they come with a, stand, I like to keep the sticker on them. She's got a very good paint job. She's in very good condition. What if I wanted to sell her off? Would I be able to get a good amount of money for her? And the answer, most of the time, is I don't know. Because it's always up to the person. I went to a store once where I got this one. This one was the most expensive one I'd bought at the time. Now Ramona is. This is HR Puff and Stuff from the TV show from the 70s. HR Puff and Stuff. I grew up watching this, which is weird because I'm 21. And he's very good condition. He's got two minor little placements with his paint job that aren't perfect on the face, but outside of that, it's a really good paint job, and it's a limited edition. And of course, when I found that they were releasing these guys, I found Witchy Poo at an EB Games. Actually, it was a JB Hi-Fi, and I'm like, $25? Yeah, sure. Clang, clang. Bugger off, mates. Not happening. You drive buses and shoot fire hoses. But then it was like, hey, do you want to get Hedgehog Puff and stuff? Well, guess what? He doesn't exist. You have to find him in very rare stores. So at that same convention I went to earlier this year, Supernova, he was there. The only one stand in the distance. I asked, oh, how much for that HR Puff and stuff? And the guy said $65. I'm like, nah, fuck off. So I bought Scott Pilgrim instead. And he's, wrapped in, he's actually in box, wrapped in plastic as well. So, double wrapped in plastic. No, the point of this video is not to show off how cool my collection is, because to be honest, I don't care. If I wanted to do that, I'd make a whole new collection video, which I totally could, but I'm not going to. But the point is that I've got 2 pop vinyls from the same series, both limited edition, one more expensive than the other, to the point that I travelled for 2 hours to pick up HR Puff and stuff. Went all the way to the airport, pretty much, to Tullamarine, to a warehouse in the middle of nowhere to find him. And I ended up buying Michael Myers as well and Blood Splatter for $15. I'm like, that's a pretty good price. I mean, you could find it cheaper, most probably, but at the same time, I figured it was a pretty good price. That's the thing, because then you have such designs like Wally, for example, who is beautiful, and I still haven't taken out of the box. And he's a beautiful box too. Found them for $20 at Supernova. And I looked at it, because we saw Eve. This is me and my mate Pierre. We saw Eva, or Eve, depending on how you want to pronounce the name. I know it's Eve. He says Eva in the movie because he's a robot. I get it, Jesus. She was there, this same version, the Earth Day version, for $20. I'm like, hey, that actually is $18. And I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool, but I don't really care much for it. Also, very weighty. I'm like, I'd prefer to get Wally, but they didn't have it. About 20 minutes later, we get to a different booth that isn't, that's run more independently, I should say. Because the other one was like a big company showing off all these pop vinyls and stuff. And there he was, $20 Australian dollars. And I'm like, I looked at it and straight away was like, hey, I'll take that. And my mate Pierre was like, damn it, I was about to say that. I'm like, oh, do you want it? He's like, no, it's probably better for my bank account. Fair enough. I believe he ended up spending that $20 on a different thing that he enjoyed more, which is good enough for him. But at the same time, we also got that dude, which you can't see, is Scooby-Doo, the 50th anniversary edition one. I went hunting for him all around the internet because now I'm familiar with eBay. I've screwed myself in there, haven't I? And suddenly it's like I found him for $20. It was like 15% off from Toys R Us, which still exists in Australia. I didn't even know that. I thought they'd closed down in Australia as well. $20. Got one for myself. My mate Pierre bought one because he was also hunting for Scooby-Doo. Better version of Scooby-Doo than the original, in my opinion. But that's also the thing. You've got reprints, and suddenly it's like the old prints become more expensive, and the design is sometimes good. Sometimes it's old classic version of pop vinyls designs I truly hate the look of. I mean, look at the original Breaking Bad pop vinyls. I don't like the look of them. That's why I bought the bobbleheads instead. I can't say I regret it, but And I only have one pop vinyl of that original collection, which we will see in a few minutes, because we'll talk about more or less how I display them, because of how maniacal this has kind of gotten. And the fact was that I was able to find them online. Really easy. $20. Free delivery. That's pretty good. I mean, I couldn't tell what the paint job was like, but I sort of, design on the picture was like that. And I'm like, hey, it's a much better design than the older version. The older version you can get for $100. I'm like thinking, bugger that. I'll just get him. Screw the rest of them. Sometimes you only need one. He's an emblem of my childhood. Hell, most of them are anyway. You got Pokemon, you got Twin Peaks. That's not really childhood, but that's more of a thing I'm a fan of now. Scott Pilgrim, of course. Wally. I even got John Wick and his dog. From a claw machine. From a fucking claw machine. I got John Wick and his dog from a claw machine. It's ridiculous. I mean, I even got Ego the Living Planet from a claw machine because I had one go and I'm like, hey, he's standing upright, so I was able to get him, and I hate that I have him now. I'm like, I want to sell him off. Could get some money out of it. I don't, but he's really cheap on the market because he's a pretty terrible pop vinyl. Let's be honest. Some of them have such terrible, unspired designs, and that's what I don't like about some of them. That's what I don't like about the majority of them. You look at Ego the Living Planet, boom, terrible design. So much so that I think it was another character in the Marvel series that was released. I think it was like Agent 13. Who is Agent 13? Do you remember that girl that... yeah, what is it? Captain America made out with that one time and then ended up time traveling to marry her aunt. Anyway, yeah, it's that one girl from that, like, not exactly that one film, but like that one minor romantic interest he had, probably the most major romantic interest outside of the major romantic interest that Captain America has. And the main criticism towards the pop vinyl is that nobody knows who the hell she is. You take her out of the box, suddenly she's a blonde-haired person that maybe does stuff. We don't know. Completely forgettable. Ego the Living Planet has less of that aspect, but you look at it, I look at the outside of the box, I'm like, what the hell is it? I don't know what it's from. I don't recognize it. I'm sorry, Kurt Russell. You just don't translate well into pop vinyls. Some people just don't have that aspect to them, unfortunately. I have pop vinyls like him. He's on the pop vinyl, my second most expensive. And I've had him out of his box since the first day I bought him. I don't have the boxes anymore. I moved houses. I threw out all the boxes, all the plastic. Do you know what the irony is? I actually kept all the boxes for years and threw out all the plastic that was inside. So it's like, oh, it turns out it's pointless. My idea, more or less, was put it inside its box, and then you'd be able to look at it while it's inside its box. But then it's cooler if it's outside of its box, because, like, look at that. It's the Big Daddy from Bioshock. And now, of course, I've gotten to the stage of my life where if I'm not buying films, I'm apparently buying the pop vinyls that came from those films, or Gudetama, because apparently I really like eggs that are lazy now. Yes, I actually have done a pop vinyl collection. Haven't got any of these ones in it yet because I did that one last year. Yeah. So of course, there's obviously the 3 stages of design now that I'm leaning into. I'm spending more money on pop vinyls, but not just pop vinyls, but design. You go, put them in their boxes, leave them on a shelf. This is my bed. They're above it. Or there's the ones that are just lying about because you took them out of their box years ago and you threw out their boxes, or you've got their boxes in a pile in the other corner of the room and you just can't go. You don't want to put them back in their boxes. I have Pikachu waving. Why would I want to keep it in its box? Like, look, I'd love to take those pop vinyls out of their boxes. I'd love to. But do you know what I did with John Wick? I took him out of his box for a week, put him on the shelf, looked at them a week later and was like, I'm going to put you back in your box. And I did. And I prefer it in its box now. It has more meaning and value towards me because it's in its box. Mostly because I got it from a claw machine. I'm like, hey, what are the odds? But at the same time, it's like, it just looks cooler in its box. Generic human pop vinyl looks better in box. Breaking news, everyone. I'd love to take a lot of these out of their boxes. Would it decrease the value? Well, that makes me think that I'm going to sell them all of a sudden. But it's hard to say. But then we go to the theatre room. And of course, then we get to stage 2 of the setup and design. Firstly, we have this. It's an incomplete set presently. However, I spent $30 on this design, on this shelf, so I could display up to 12, technically, depending on how wide most of them are. I could potentially fit smaller minifigures there as well, but for the most part, dedicated it to pop vinyls. To put it on my piano and have each figure representing something from film and television. Obviously, the front row is from Blade Runner 2049, where I'll have Joy in the middle. She's actually expecting the mail. $10. That's pretty good price for a pop vinyl. And it's, like, crazy that they're not that price normally. And, of course, then you have Kay and Deckard. Then in the middle row, you have quite a variety. No real theme, to be honest, even though you'd think that there was one. You can call it horror if you really want to. Of course, you have Jack Nicholson's Jack Torrance from The Shining. He's the only one I have from The Shining because I don't care much for the Wendy Pop or any of the other ones. And that's what's the problem. They come in collections most of the time and I don't care for them. I saw the Grady twins once for $50. I'm like, dude, you're buying the same pop vinyl twice. What's the point? I guess it's obviously for the aspect of, oh, but they're twins. It's like, yeah, but they're twins. They're literally the same design twice. That just seems a bit far-fetched in my mind. Either way. Then you continue with Frankenstein's Monster. Haha, almost got you there. Really nice classic pop vinyl. I love the design. I love the flower as well. See, some parts of it are just unique like that. Would I love to get Bride of Frankenstein? You bet your ass I would. Is it going to happen? No. It's impossible to find these days. God damn it, I'm going to start looking for that, but the economy is so shit I really shouldn't bother. Anyway, then we get to Jack on Fire, which I think is self-explanatory from The Incredibles. I think it's actually from The Incredibles 2 in this case, but at the same time, to have seen of all the Jacks, the first one I saw was Jack on Fire, and suddenly I'm like, shut up and take my money. And in the third and final row, we have a wedding of sorts. Royalty, if you will. You have Beetlejuice, of course, in his wedding suit. And, Winona Ryder's character, I totally remember her name. I really don't remember her name. Either way, you have her in her gorgeous dress. And apparently even that one in its own box can go up for quite a lot of money. My friend has all the Beetlejuice pops except for, like, the one with him with the guide hat. She even has the original Beetlejuice, which isn't as expensive as Lydia. That's her name, Lydia. I knew it would come to mind. But of course, I can understand why her pop vinyl is so expensive, because she comes in this beautiful dress, and it's got such a nice design to it, such a completely different kind of feel to any other pop vinyl. And then, of course, there's Beetlejuice with his Dagon eyes and everything. Really cool design. I preferred that than Goth one with Book, and Goth Lydia with Book, and, bus driver version of Beetlejuice. But they obviously want something different to the famous costume version of Beetlejuice from the original print. The original print, I don't like the original print. I don't like it at all. But also, like, Lydia with a Book is also quite expensive. It's weird. And then, of course, the reigning king. He's there for a reason. A, he's my least favourite pop vinyl. B, I got him more or less, not by mistake, it was on purpose actually, because I remember my mum and I were at JB buying one of the seasons of Game of Thrones. I think it was season 5. They had the limited edition version. It came with a slipcase with the crow feathers on it and everything. It was all bumpy. It was beautifully designed. And it came with him. And of course, let me show you him. This is King Joffrey Baratheon, a character so many people hate in the show, of course, because he's so brilliantly portrayed. He comes with his crown, pretty good paint job outside of a smidgen around from the eye and on the ear. Really good paint job. Actually, yeah, a really good paint job indeed. The hands and the arrow, everything about it is actually really cool. It's, well, really good, I should say, not really cool, but yeah. Of course, he's from a lot of the older series, so the face is boring as hell. It's a very accurate representation of his character, so there is that fairness I can give to it. And when we got it, I was like, hey, I think we got it for like 20% off, and I convinced Mum to get it for us. I'm like, hey, it's cool, it's Joffrey, it's King Joffrey. So we got him. I think they also had like season 6 at the same time or something, and they had like Jon Snow with it, and Noah got that, so he got Jon, I got Joffrey. It seemed pretty fair in terms of who got what. And he, on my app, goes for 55 USD, which is like 100 Australian dollars, and it's like, what the fuck? Of course I can't sell him in his case, because I don't have a case, because he never came with a case. He came in the Blu-ray pack, but I can't sell him on that notion, because that doesn't make any sense. It's not like here's 2 versions of the same pop vinyl, both exclusive. One is from San Diego Comic Con, and one is from Hot Topic. and they're both identical, but because one's from San Diego Comic-Con, it's more expensive. You know, that kind of deal. This one wouldn't be more expensive. But still, he's there, so every day I look at him, I think, I'm going to sell him off. It's that kind of a deal, where I can look at them and portray them like that. Alternatively, on the other side, there are two things that are quite stand out. Three things. Three. On this side, we finally have, of course, oh look, it's Mysterio, my really cool figure that my girlfriend got me. Either way, much cooler figure than any of my pop vinyls, let's be honest. But then we dip down over here, and now I'll have the footage in post, but you can kind of see them. I'm not going to crouch down because it's too far. But with my Twin Peaks and David Lynch set, I have the Red Room versions of Dale Cooper and Laura Palmer, which I find really cool. I love that I bought them. I had to actually order them in, which is the first time I did that for a pop vinyl. I was scared shitless because suddenly it's like, oh my god, the paint job could be terrible. And then up the top there we've got Hitchcock with his Hitchcock box set because I figured that just makes more sense, you know. So yeah. And I don't know what the hell the point of this video is. To be fair, people can collect all kinds of figurines. I have a colleague who not just gets figurines of Superman, so many figurines, even like really cheap, shitty looking toy versions of him, so like bootleg versions. It's cool because he really likes that kind of stuff. That's fair. I don't mind. It's his cup of tea. I think it's cool that he likes that kind of stuff. And we have a lot of present day, you know, comic book nerds especially, who are buying a lot of pop vinyls and stuff, Star Wars nerds, all kinds of stuff like that, because they love their fandom, which is fair. Twin Peaks for me. Look, we all have our thing. And it's just like, you compare a pop vinyl, take Laura Palmer, basic design, simple aesthetic, to Mysterio, who is just extraordinary in design and technique and weight. This is the pop vinyl. I guess pop vinyls are smaller, that's kind of a benefit. Unless you get the really big ones. But that's just crazy. I saw a big version of Jack Jack once, I'm just like, dude, that's an actual baby. Moral of the story, yeah, keep buying pop vinyls, do what the hell you want, it's your money. You know, I'm not going to criticize people anymore for buying pop vinyls, because I can't do that anymore. Once you start buying them, you can't start criticizing other people. Unless suddenly it's like, I don't know, I can't compare it to film, because in film you could at least have the opinion on, your opinion on the film, and be like, oh, that's a terrible film, why would you spend $30 on that on Blu-ray, you know? Who the hell cares about Rampage? Dude, just play the original video game. Or watch anything else. Either way, can't really criticize that with pop vinyls, outside of if I prefer the modern day version, the present version of Scooby-Doo versus the older version, which I do prefer the new version, hence why I bought it. It's cute. My family likes it. My girlfriend likes it. That's what makes me happy as well, that other people like it. So yes, I think end all be all, because I don't really know how to wrap this up, which I keep thinking that I'm saying the same thing. Just you do you. Enjoy yourself. While you still can, I guess. Pop vinyls are fun. I think they're a good representation of what you like as a person. I think, to some degree, maybe take them out of their boxes once in a while. Holy shit, man. Like, I'm not going to get on the crazy notion of how a lot of mothers used to buy them for their kids because they would be toys, and then a lot of nerds got angry about that because they're like, they're not toys, they're figurines. It's like, whoa, just play with Lego until you're 16. Then you don't have to worry about this shit. So anyway, feel free to check out my pop vinyl collection video. It's obviously not up to date. RIP. But still, I had fun making it, I guess, because why not? Outside of that, thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe for more, and I'll do more opinion pieces like this in the future. Next time, we're going to talk about why Dorbs is a waste of money. It is. There, that's my essay. Goodbye.